For centuries, the pike was an absolute and non-negotiable mainstay in the armies of Europe. Of course, advances in firearm technology meant that often the ratios changed. Throughout the 16th and 17th centuries, the number of heavy infantry, the armoured and battle-hardened pikemen, dwindled in comparison to their lighter, less expensive and much more disposable counterpart, the musket-wielding light infantry. However, warfare was indeed changing, and fast. By the 30 Years' War in the mid-17th century, armies such as the Swedish synthesised foot, horse and cannon, a harbinger of the combined warfare of tanks, planes and artillery of centuries later. After this, warfare for the most part was irreparably changed in Europe. Manoeuvrability and speed were now vital in a way they would not have been before. As early as the beginning of the 17th century, soldiers were shoving crude swords into the end of their musket barrels, creating a new type of soldier that was not as resilient as the pikeman, but not as vulnerable as the musketeer. In this new era of faster and combined warfare, the infantry could no longer rely on internal elements who were solely suited to anti-cavalry and heavy infantry fighting, and thus plug bayonets became a mainstay in many armies. These would be plugged into the barrel of the musket, disabling its use as a firearm and turning it into a crude pike or long arm. The problem here is obvious. Indeed, many early failures, such as William of Orange in the Glorious Revolution against the Jacobite forces, were due to this being a terrible state of affairs when confronted with the double-armed Highlanders. While William's men had to fire, then fix bayonets, the Highlanders were able to use their separate melee weapons. But the true fix to this eternal problem came in the form of the socket bayonet. This would be fixed onto a latch, which was called a sight, yes, muskets did have sights, and while early and/or cheap designs, which to be honest was most of them, were prone to just falling off the end of the musket, the infantry revolution was truly complete. For the first time, the long and close-range soldier were made into one, and every infantryman had the theoretical capability to engage with all enemies he would come across, horse or foot. He was still shafted by artillery, something that is truly timeless.